Hello, my dear friends. Today we'll study the poem She Was a Phantom of Delight, written by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth belongs to the Romantic age that starts in 1789 and ends in 1832. Romanticism was a artistic it was an artistic, literary, and intellectual movement that originated in Europe toward the end of 18th century. William Wordsworth and Samuel Coleridge's lyrical ballads that came in 1798 it starts the Romantic age from the publishing of this ballad. It was a kind of reaction against the neoclassical age. It was an interaction of humans with their environment, and it was the reaction against the language and norms that was given by the 19th century by the neoclassical writers. In 1757, treatise of Edmund Burke that inspired the writers of the Romantic age. Romantic writers were very much inspired by the French Revolution. It was a kind of result, we can say, that flourished in the poetry of Romantic age. The word romantic comes from the Latin or Roman dialect that is used in Roman. Romantic, according to L.P. Smith, is a word that it is a kind of idiom that connotes false or fictitious beings and feelings. Some of the romantics were Scott, Byron, Keats, and Shelley, and Wordsworth was the most important writer of the age. In his poetry, we find the imagination, emotion, and individuality. Individualism that is the individualism and emotions was the subject of Wordsworth poetry. It reflects the interesting subject of that is solitude and nature. Wordsworth that always suggests to give back to the nature, back to the native tradition. So he gives the impression of romantic writing. Here in romantic writing, Wordsworth, Coleridge, and Scott, Sade, Black, Lamb, Hazlitt all talks about the romantic writer. In this poem, She Was a Phantom of Delight, Wordsworth gives a tribute to his wife Mary Hutchinson. He feels very emotional and praiseful for his wife. He said, She was a phantom of delight when first she gleamed upon my sight, a lovely apparition sent to be a moment's ornament. Her eyes as stars of twilight fair, like twilights too her dusky hair, but all things else about her drawn from May time and the cheerful dawn, a dancing shape and image gay, to haunt, to startle the way lay. So, in the first stanza of the poem, Wordsworth says that when he first saw his wife Mary Hutchinson before marriage, it was a kind of phantom for him, it was a kind of vision for him. He felt delighted with the vision of his wife. When I saw her first time before my marriage, she appeared so beautiful to me. And in the first sight, they fall in love with the first sight, and it was an extremely beautiful appearance for him. So in this, the very first line, she was a phantom of delight. Wordsworth praises his wife that her eyes as stars of twilight fair. Her eyes were like stars and twilight, and her dusky hair, her hairs were dusky, but all things else about her drawn, and it gave him like a cheerful dawn, like a cheerful sunset, a dancing shape came in his mind to haunt, to startle, and waylay. So, in these lines, he is praising his wife. He is praising his wife that she was a kind of beautiful creature for him. Poet felt that she filled the vacant part of my life. She filled the vacant part of my life, but all things else about her dawn, from Maytime and cheerful dawn, a dancing shape and image gave, to haunt, to startle, and waylay. I saw upon near view a spirit, yet a woman too, her household motion light and free, and steps of virgin liberty, a countenance in which did meet sweet record promises as sweet. So, in all these lines, he is praising his wife that uh, poet felt that she filled the vacant part of my life. There was some part that was vacant in my life, and she filled my life with joy. Her beauty first struck him. He was very much impressed by her wife's beauty. God sent her only for him. He thinks that God sent her only for the poet. Next, he is praising the eyes of um, his wife. He says that her eyes are like stars. It was brightening like a vision of great delight. It was with full of brightness that it was a kind of vision for me. Poet feels that God sent her like an ornament. So her eyes were like stars after sunset. Her hairs were like darkness of the evening. So he is comparing her wife. Sorry, he is comparing his wife with the darkness of evening. He is comparing his wife with the stars after the sunset. So all the images are here. All things were interesting and full of youthful. When they get married, all things were very interesting, and their youth was very youthful. Walking style was like a dancer, and now Wordsworth is praising the walking style of his wife, that her walking style was like a dancer, and her beauty was fresh, and her beauty was so fresh it gives a blossoming flowers. uh, Her whole personality was too charming. So he was very much impressed by the overall personality of his wife. In the next stanza, he says that accountancy in which did meet sweet records promises as sweet, a creature not too bright, not good for human nature's daily food, for transient sorrows, simple wiles, praise, blame, love, kisses, tears, and smiles. And now, so here he says that her household motions was also very beautiful. Now he is praising the household duties of his wife, that her household motions was also very beautiful. She was very innocent and fair from her character. So in the household duties after the marriage, here also she was very much she was very much emotional and innocent. She was like a creature that was very simple with sorrows and transient kisses were there, smiles were there on her face for me. she might be affected by the simple joy, and she was such a beautiful innocent creature that even a simple joy gives me bright beauty on her cheeks. When I married her, he said that when I married her, I am peaceful, I am very peaceful, I am very satisfied with her. She has still mind. Now Wordsworth is praising her mind, her qualities, and now I see with her serene the very pulse of machine, a being breathing thoughtful breath, a traveler between life and death. The reason form, the temperature, will, endurance, foresight, strength, and skill. A perfect woman, nobly planned, to warn, to comfort and command, and yet a spirit still bright with something of angelic light. So, in these lines, poet is praising that when I married her, I found him very peaceful. Sorry, I found her very peaceful, and she has still mind, and she has limited demands to me. She is bright angel. She seems me like a bright angel. She has divine powers. I I I feel in her a divine powers. Now poet with a calm mind. Now poet feels in her a calm mind, and he considered her as a traveler in his life. His wife is a kind of traveler in his life. She may be a car. She may be a perfect picture of a woman. So he is calling her a perfect woman. Later he says that after developing relationship between husband and wife, I can I can say that she is a perfect, she is an ideal woman for me. She seems like a twilight. She seems like a dusky hair. So these are the similes used by Wordsworth for her wife. Her eyes, stars of twilight. He says that her eyes are stars of twilight. And Wordsworth later uh, pick out the unreachable qualities of his wife, that a lovely illusion for him. She is a kind of illusion for him, whether she is real or not, because all the goody things are there in his wife. She is a dancing shape metaphor. She is a kind of dancing shape. Uh, she is very graceful in her dance. So she is also good housewife, and on the another hand, all the ordinary qualities of a housewife is also there. So Wordsworth is calling her a comfort spirit. She is a kind of angel for him. So this was the poem. She was a phantom of delight. I think this will be very helpful for you. Thank you.